though she self-proclaims that she is a high school dropout, she truly has one of the best minds for business that I have ever met in my life, and bar none. I started my career with the Wolves of Wall Street. So I've been around the block, I've met a lot of people. This woman is a true entrepreneur in that she is able to get on the forefront of trends. She started out with the day spa outside of resort trend in Palm Springs and created a dynasty. In 2008, because of the economic crash, she lost that. Then that's when she found network marketing, created another dynasty. That company went, she found another one. She's now on her third network marketing company, creating another dynasty. But the thing that sets this incredible woman apart from the other professionals in our industry is that she's truly one of the most generous souls we've ever met. We are blessed that she is here to be able to give us her expertise. And if you spend any time on Facebook, she is doing this day in, day out. It is my incredible honor to introduce 2016's Rookie of the Year and my dear friend, Darlene.
That was awesome. Okay, so you got my story. I can jump right into this. So, you guys, I am in love with network marketing really for one reason, because it allows me to have time freedom. And time freedom is something that most people don't have, and including very successful business people, they just don't have time freedom. And you'll understand that when you're sick and laying in bed, or when someone's dying and you can't be by their bedside, or you're getting older and you realize there's no end to your road. And it's so simple if you guys can wrap your brain around it. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it gets a bad rap. And I was one of those people that hated network marketing. I said it was a scam. I said these things don't work. I was one of those people, and it was only because I didn't have anybody in my family and my personal life that had made a success at network marketing. So it's a little bit different for my daughter than it was for me growing up, right? Because my daughter's grown up in this environment and it's all she knows. And so I was very fortunate when I was young to have a mentor that taught me leverage. And a lot of people don't understand leverage because they are the leverage. Leverage is known as employees in the world, okay? I had 49 employees that worked for me that helped me make $3 million a year in my day spas, in my salons, but it took me years to build that. So you're either in a situation where you're the leverage for somebody else, and just think about your paycheck. You have a paycheck, and that dollar amount on your paycheck came from customers. Customers that created a transaction in a company that are where the money came from for you to make that paycheck. Now, how many other sets of hands helped you make that paycheck? Was it just you? Are you the one behind the cash register that's creating the transaction for the company? And if you don't show up, there's no transaction for you for your paycheck? You know, a lot of people don't understand how money works, and they're out there working for money instead of making money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody needs to have a job when they start, because jobs are meant to teach you skills. They're meant to teach you how to deal with people. They're meant to teach you how to follow rules. It's kind of like school. School is bells and whistles that teach you how to show up and be quiet and listen and learn. And that's really what a job is for. But I want you to stop and think about how many people on the planet do you know that have a job that retired after a few years and are living the life that they were born to live. They're not. They're working the life that they were born to live. And they go to their grave working their life that they were born to live, and they never live. That's why they say most of the inventions and creations in the world are buried in the burial grounds, in cemeteries, because nobody had time to go fill it. Nobody had time. And you know, it's hard because there's so many, if you guys think back over time, think about what happened in our economy, in our world. You know, the mom always stayed home to raise the family, to raise the kids, always. And then it got time where mom had to go to work to get a job. And now it's both parents working to raise the family to pay somebody else to raise the kids. You know, it's just because the world has gotten so much more expensive and the cost of a job has gotten so less. And so I don't have a problem with jobs. I don't. Everybody needs them. The country needs them to run. No one's going to clean the toilets and paint my house and cut my hair and cook my meals and do all that stuff if someone doesn't have a job. But those positions are not meant for grandma and grandpa. Grandma and grandpa should have retired, but they didn't because they can't, you know, because of everything that happened in the economy. Those jobs are actually meant for 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds to get started off in the workplace so they can get going. But what happened is a lot of people got started in a job and they got stuck there because they became comfortable. They made just enough to pay the bills so they were surviving, and they didn't make their exit plan. So they don't have a backup plan. They don't have a strategy plan. I'm 50 years old next month, and I know many 50-year-olds that are still working for $20-something an hour. And I'm sorry, you cannot create an exit plan or retire on $20-something an hour. You can't even do it, in my opinion, on $100,000 a year, if you stop and think about it. So a lot of people don't have an exit plan, and I have the best exit plan on the planet that anybody can do if you'll just learn how money is made versus learn how to work for money. Learn how money moves in the world. Money is made through units of distribution. Units of distribution can be anything under the sun. They can be people called employees, independent contractors, distributors. They can be soda machines. They can be apartment buildings. They can be houses. They can be warehouses, whatever. Cars out there on the street that you're renting for people to drive. Those are units of distribution. Anything that produces you an income is a unit of distribution. And so a lot of people don't understand that leverage is something that you need to work with you. Okay, those are called employees. But if you don't have residual income in your life, you're never going to create residual leverage, which is where time freedom comes from. And so I want to draw something out for you just real quick so you can understand how money moves. If you can learn how money moves, you can learn how to create it. And then I can tell you how to create the money that you want to make so that you can live the life that you want to live through residual leverage points of distribution. Residual leverage points of distribution. And so this is it, and I'll share something with you guys. I've only been at this game, I've only been at the network marketing game for 9 years. I just had my 9-year anniversary. And I started out a skeptic. I didn't even really know I was in network marketing when I actually got in it, and most people don't. You know, they get in, they really don't know that they're in network marketing. But I'll tell you where it all started. I had a friend in my hair salon who said, Darla, have you ever watched The Secret? And I said, no. And he says, gosh, you just sound so much like The Secret. You need to watch The Secret. So he brought me a DVD, and his name was George LaBarbera. He brought me a DVD. He was a customer of mine. I used to cut his hair. And he'd come every haircut and say, did you watch it yet? Did you watch it yet? And I was like, no, I keep forgetting, I keep forgetting, I keep forgetting. So then I noticed him, he was coming again on the next day to get a haircut, and I was like, oh, I promised him I would watch this dang movie. So I took it home that night. It was sitting all dusty on the top of my filing cabinet in my office in my salon. I took it home that night, and that's where my life changed. That was the beginning of what changed everything inside me to realize that life is bigger than what I knew. And so if you have never watched this, or if you've never read it or whatever, I highly recommend that you get started. Because until you start learning stuff like this, you're not going to learn how to create the money that they make. You know, everybody is of their environment. Do you guys think if you were related to Michael Jackson or Marilyn Monroe that you'd be sitting here right now? Do you think you'd be here? Do you think you'd be living where you live and hanging out with who you hang out with? Jeannie, you would have never met your husband. You know, because you wouldn't have come here, right? And so it's all because they understand royalties. And royalties are very much like the type of money that we make. We make a royalties type of money, but we build it differently and a lot easier because we didn't have to learn how to write, sing, or dance. Okay, so that's where it all started. If I do a lot of speaking in events, and I just want to give you a lot of analogies along the way so that you can understand what it takes. Because it doesn't take any special skills. You do not need to go to school to get a degree. You don't have to learn a language. You don't have to pass a test. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to learn a few simple core principles. And when I'm speaking to a room full of very successful people, and I ask them, who here has ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? It is the opposite of what I get when I ask a group like this if they've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Do you get it? And that's because they've read every one of these books. I have read almost every one of these books. This is my PhD right here. This is it. It's not a classroom, but if you'll treat it like a classroom, like you would school, like for example today, you know, the ones that are serious got up and came regardless of the ones that had the excuses. Because the ones that are serious treat this like their business. You're building a multi-million-dollar business. I have made millions of dollars in this industry because I showed up and I treated it like a multi-million-dollar business. And if I didn't treat it that way, I would have slept in today. I would have been at the beach at a party, or I would have gone shopping with some friends, or gone out of town because I got invited. Do you get it? So you got to rise it up above on your priority list and you'll get the results. And so I started years ago with reading 10 pages every morning. 10 pages every morning. You can't change your life reading 10 pages every morning, but you can read in 1 year 3,650 pages, which is a bunch of these books. And that's where you get your knowledge. Because wealth and money is not taught in a classroom. There is not a college course that you can take that you would learn how to make millions of dollars. Do you know why? Because if the teachers knew how to do it, they wouldn't be there to teach it. Do you get it? They would retire a long time ago and they would be living their life. So where is money and wealth taught? It's taught by millionaires and mentors. It's taught by people that did it, like Robert Kiyosaki and Brian Tracy and all those guys that have done it and wrote books about it. Study it. Get a PhD on YouTube. I have a great YouTube channel where you can go and find tons of trainings and information of how to do it. I can't teach you how to make more than what I've made. I've only made X amount of dollars. You can only teach someone to do that. But I can teach you the laws and principles of how it's made, and then you can go pour yourself into it and do as much as you want. And so this is what I want you to learn. Just real quickly, I'm going to run through this so I can get on to the other part. Everybody in life starts as an employee. Every single one of us. 95% of the people on the planet are either employees or self-employed. 5% of the people on the planet are over here, and I'll show you what those guys are in a minute. But these are people who trade their time for money. They show up and they work 1 hour and they get a $1 wage for that, and they repeat that process until they're exhausted, or they settle in and they get comfortable here, and 40 years later they're still here. But then there's the few that say, I don't like it here. I can't make enough to live and survive to the lifestyle that I want. They say, okay, I'm going to go become self-employed. So I started here as a hairdresser working behind the chair, and I quickly learned that I'm never going to be able to drive my boss's car and live in his house as long as I stayed right here, because I couldn't make enough money with just the works of my own 2 hands. See, he was making a ton of money because he had a whole bunch of us working for him. So he was making a little bit off of a whole bunch of us. So I said, well, I need to go learn how to be like him. And so I became self-employed. Nothing changed except for I was my own boss and I got to keep more of my own profits. I still had to show up, and if I didn't show up, I didn't make any money. So 95% of the people live here, and there's no leverage right here. There's none. Leverage is when you start getting people working for you that you can create more efforts for your income. Okay, so this is where, when I opened up my salon, I was able to make big money. And this is where leverage is. And so leverage means you have other people working for you. You can start building a pyramid. So I was at the top, my husband was right below me, we had managers, and we had 49 employees that worked for us, and that made us millions of dollars. A pyramid is business. Every business is a pyramid. I want you to stop and think about where you work. There's a guy above you that makes more money than you, but the problem with the business pyramid and the structure out there in the world that we know it is no one above you makes less money than you. It's the chain of command, and you're never going to make more money than the guy above you till you take his position and hope that he dies and quits. And so no one above you is going to say to you, let me help you make your paycheck today. It just doesn't work like that. That's business. Okay? And so you can make $3 million a year here, but what do you not have is no time. Because leveraged income usually means you're the busiest person you know, you're making a lot of money, but you have no time freedom because you're working all the time. It's not until you learn this quadrant right here. And this is where residual income lives. Residual income. Okay, so these people, 95% of people in the world work for these people, for the 5%. 5% of people in the world make it to this side of the scale. Here is where we had 49 of these people working for us. Get it? 49 of these guys working for us here in our little pyramid that helped us make all the money that we made. But I was never going to retire. I was never going to have a life. I was never going to raise my own child. I was never going to be able to travel the country. I already have my plot bought in the cemetery at the town where, because that's where you're going to die when you own a business in a town. You're going to die there. It's just the way it is. And so then when you learn how to get here, now you're in the top 3% in the world. This is, if you can learn how to get residual income and leverage working for you together in the same equation, there is unlimited income potential there. You can make millions of dollars here. You can make millions of dollars here too, but there's no time freedom in it. There's none, because you can't stop creating it. Where when you get money working for you and with you, then now you can retire and have units of distribution paying you long after you're gone. And so can you make millions of dollars here?
Sure.
How? Give me one example.
One is well, you have to move it to the
Yes, over here, yeah. It doesn't exist, it's not written in history. You cannot find a job out there that will pay you millions of dollars and allow you to retire in a few short years and continue to pay you after you're gone. It just doesn't exist. And that's just the way the world works with money. So if you can pull back away from it and start backwards, if we would have taught our children to start backwards instead of forwards and taught them how to get to a point, because this is why people at 50 and 60 years old are stuck. They have no retirement, they have nothing in the bank, they have no exit plan because all they do is work for broke and they're exhausted because they've been working for so many years, they don't even have the energy to think about changing. That's how it is out there for many people, it really is. And it's because they didn't think backwards. You've got to sit down and think about, what do you want out of life? Where do you really want to live? Close your eyes and dream for just a minute. If money was no object and you had an abundance of it, where would you live? What would you be doing right now? Who would you be hanging out with? What would you be doing with your time? What kind of house would your parents live in? What kind of house would they drive? What about your grandparents? You got to think about those things, and you got to figure out what that number is, because it's a different number for everyone. For some people, they just need an extra $500 a month. For some people, they just need an extra $2,000 a month. For some people, they have such big dreams and desires of things they want to do, they need $50,000 a month. But whatever that number is, you got to find it and expand it by double, because you're not even thinking about the things out here because you've not ever gone there. What if you were making $1 million a month? Sit for a minute and ask it out. If you were making there are people in this industry that make $1 million a month. They do not have a high school degree, they do not have college degrees, they don't have any special skills, they don't have anything. They simply learned a system and they built the system, is what they did. They built the system. They built a residual leverage asset system of units of distribution, is really what it is, which are people. And so what would you be doing if you were making $1 million a month? Who would you be? What would your fundraiser be? Where would you be traveling? Who would you be? What church would you build? What school would you build? What park would you build? You know, you got to think about stuff like that and work yourself backwards. And then tell yourself, I'm going to do that over the next 5 years. And make yourself have a 5-year game plan to create it. And it's going to go in steps. It's going to go in steps. But if you can commit to a 5-year game plan and you can show up and treat this multi-million-dollar business as if it is one, instead of treating it like a little hobby or a little card sending business, you can do it. But you got to show up and you got to do the bookwork and you got to do the time, and you have to let people laugh at you and let people tell you it's not going to work, and you got to just dismiss the doubt and work the system, and you'll get the results. And so this is the way money works. Does anyone have a question on this? So this one, you trade your time for money. This one, you learn how to add leverage to yourself. This one is residual income. When you marry these two together in one structure, which is network marketing, okay, there's not many structures that have residual income that an everyday person can afford to do. Yes?
What do the athletes and entertainers fit in there?
Athletes, well, they're royalties. So they do, like, I have a friend who gets paid off of 138 TV commercials that he did years ago because he's a model. You know, or I have some friends that wrote books, and their books actually sell, so they still make money off their books. Or like a movie, if you did a movie. Or athletes are actually the #1 highest paid people on the planet. You guys all know that, right? Sports. Do you know what the second is? The second industry on the planet that creates the most millionaires is this industry right here. You can go research it, go Google it. I don't have what it takes to become a football player, nor do I want to go through all that. But I sure do have what it takes to learn a simple system and follow the recipe and do what it takes, and don't try and reinvent the wheel, and and you'll get the results. And that is exactly what I do every day. And you guys, here's the thing is people don't understand why I do what I do. I'm doing it for this because of what it provides me for my family. I am the exit plan. And I haven't done this once, twice, 3 times. I'm doing it for my 4th time right now. I have got this so wired in, I know how it works. And why I love Sendout Cards to do this with is because Sendout Cards is the only company in this industry that has no competition and is the asset to every single other network marketing company. If any one of my network marketing company friends call me, they're only able to call me to try and cross-recruit me. I don't have to do that to them. I get to say to them, stay where you're at and let me show you how to master a follow-up system and build your paycheck even bigger. Because that is exactly what we have our hands on. I can go to any single person in business or in sales and say, if I could show you a way to increase your bottom line, would you give me 15 minutes to show it to you? And of course that's the answer because that's what they want, right? Do you need more customers in your business? Yes, I would love more customers. Does the #1 source of your customers come from referrals? Yes. If I told you I could show you a way to master that art and increase and double and triple and quadruple your referral numbers, would you give me 1 year to prove it to you? If it took you 1 year to quadruple your closing numbers, would you invest for 1 year, $39 a month? And that's all it takes, you guys. If you can get someone to commit to that, they'll get there. But if it's a short commitment, and I won't take anybody on without telling them that. You got to give me this promise, and you got to be willing to do this, and do it for you, not for me. And don't tell me that you're going to do it and then quit and let me have a bad name because you didn't do what it took. I'm after stories that sell. So if you're ready to commit, let's go to work, you know? And posture yourself like that, and don't take this. And this is the way I use the back of my card. I love you more. Do you get it? This is my new branding. Instead of my name and my phone number, it's stuff on the toilet. Can't believe I didn't bring it. But you gotta, this is my hobby. This is not my business. This is my hobby. Do you understand that? But for most people in Sendout Cards, this is all they do. They don't do the other side of it. They don't do the money-making side. You're not gonna build an empire by sending cards. You have to build an empire by building units of distribution of people that are sending cards and building units of distributions. Does that make sense? Okay? And that's the only way you're going to promote and rank advance and get into the higher levels. On day 1, I didn't get paid on any cards because I had just gotten started, right? Today, I get paid off of thousands of cards that are going out every single month. And I don't have to lick and stamp or pick Darla. And I sent it to everybody that had a part of our anniversary. And it's just a card. That's all it is. That's all it is. Just memory, pictures. That's it. And do stuff like this where when people post beautiful pictures on their Facebook, just take them. This is my husband's Mother's Day card. How many of you sent your husband a Mother's Day card? Thank you so much for being the reason I am a mother. It's the highest honor and deepest happiness. And so when my daughter sees these things sitting around the house, what do you think it does for her? It does amazing things in a child. People don't think about that. This builds confidence in a child. My daughter is never going to be able to find a man. No one's going to live up to those standards. You know, somebody took this picture, this cute picture of our dog. I walked into the room and the dog was typing on the laptop, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's so cute. My mom, the derby, she takes him to church, and she gets in trouble at church because she makes everybody laugh. It's so funny. But just find reasons to make people laugh, make people smile. I could seriously sit and send cards all day long, but that's not what I do to make money. This is what I do to make friends. To make friends. I don't have any branding on the back of my cards at all anymore, none. And even when I get Sendout Cards from you guys at Sendout Cards, and I flip it over, I'm like, even though I'm in Sendout Cards, and I see that on the back, for some reason it still sends that energy of ick. Like you finally got your cards down good. You took all your crap off and you sent me a beautiful card. It just had a picture and it just said, Happy Mother's Day. I was like, he did it! He finally got it. Anyway, it was really good. So, all right. So how do you build units of distribution? First of all, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to realize it, and you have to be okay with it, and you have to be okay with people not understanding why you do what you do. And you have to just figure it out. Every day, you got to do the activities. Yes, send cards every day so that when they say, oh my gosh, I got your card, it's so adorable, you can say, oh, I just knew you would love it, You would never in a million years believe how it got to you. That's my line. That's my golden line. You would never in a million years believe how it got to you. What do you say when somebody says that?
How'd you do it?
Exactly. How? You'd never believe it. And then I don't answer them then. I say to them, first tell me how much do you think it. How do you deal with people saying that I wouldn't send 33 cards a month? I say, I didn't think I would either. I hadn't sent a card in years. But today, I could literally send hundreds. There's so many reasons to send cards. And this is what I say to them. Let me prove it to you. Try it for 1 month. And I will sit with them and help them send 33 cards. And every time when they send those 33 cards, that's all that you need to do. Just make sure they're sending a gratitude card, not a pitch card. They're saying thank you. For Mother's Day, I went to many men and I said, have you made your wife a Mother's Day card yet? For one purpose. For the purpose that I could show you on my phone that I've been getting a bunch of text messages from husbands saying, well, my wife got her card and she says that I need to sign up to do this and send her more cards. So I let the wives do the work. So think like that. When you're getting someone to send a card, have them send a card to somebody that is, and that's going to light the spark inside of them of that feeling, okay? But as far as building a network, you have got to build units of distributions that are working for you. So I'm going to ask Jeff, come up here for a minute while I do this, please. The best way to show it to you is to show you a visual. So this is Jeff Ezell. Everybody give him a hand. And it's his birthday. So Jeff Ezell is a really, really good friend of mine. And if you're on Facebook at all, you know that we're pretty tight, right? But I didn't sponsor Jeff into send out cards. I didn't even, okay, so that's Robin. And then Jeff is he's everything. He's a magician. He's a movie producer. He's a manager of a high-end car dealership. He's a trainer, a speaker. He's a networker. He's an entrepreneur. Jeff has many hats. Every time I say many hats, I think of that I Love Lucy show where you know which one? They put on the hat and he comes back and it's the same guy with a different hat. Hi, I'm the gas man. Weren't you the movie theater guy? Yeah. Anyway. And so, squirrel.
Me, darling.
So Jeff does many things. Jeff is an entrepreneur, okay? But Jeff only has 2 income streams that can actually retire him. He's a movie producer, so when he produces movies, he gets royalties off of those movies, right? So he makes royalties every time he sells a movie. But he understands building a residual leveraged income asset. He understands that. Because if not, he's going to work forever. Even though he wears a lot of hats and makes, good money doing what he does, he can't take off the hat and take a nap. Because then it stops him making money, right? So then he signs up Jordan, and the way that it happened here is Jordan works for him at the auto dealership. Jordan is a Maserati car salesman guy. Jordan also understands network marketing. He was in Amway, right? Yeah, and he's a young kid, in Amway. And so he had a bad taste in his mouth about network marketing because he was tying it to Amway. He was tying it to skin cream and soap and all that kind of stuff. And so it'll happen all the time. When you get this type of a business in front of someone that deals with customers, it changes everything because now it's an asset to what it is that they do. This is a way for somebody that is in sales to be, or anything where they're dealing with a customer that they can add another customer and make more money. Now, mind you, if you're working at a job, like if you're the clerk at the grocery store, it doesn't matter how many customers come in that day, it's not going to change your paycheck. Do you get it? You're going to scan groceries all day long. If you're the guy, the TSA guy at the airport, it doesn't matter if 10 million people come through that scanner, you're not going to make any more money. So for that, it doesn't work. But anybody that is in a position where they deal with customers and they need more customers, this is your jackpot golden business for those people to be able to build a side income stream. So Jeff just got promoted to senior manager. So give him he did. And so what that takes is it takes building a team of 3 people and then getting those 3 people, they're going to go out and do their own thing, and then building a team of 12. So here's Jeff. So Jeff got a few customers, and then he got a few distributors, okay? This paid him $140, $140, $140, and these are just his customers. So once he did this, he promoted to manager, okay? So all he did is share a business opportunity with someone, and they got started, and that's what it was. So then he had to do a group of 12. Do you know how many personally enrolled you did in that group?
Yeah,
240, 240, 240, 240, 240, 240, okay? And then it takes 12 people total to get promoted from there to the next group, okay? So then he had a couple people go out, actually it was Jordan. Jordan put in one, who put in one, who put in one. Okay, so Jordan put in one, who put in one, who put in one. So this paid him 100, 100, 100. So then now he got promoted to senior manager. That's what it takes to get promoted to senior manager. If you're sitting in a lake and you have a boat, and there's 12, 13, 14, 15 holes in the boat. There's 15 holes in the boat, and you gotta plug 15 holes in the boat. What are you plugging those holes with? What are you plugging them with? Distributors. People that want to be in the business, that want to make money, right? And so if you keep it simple and just work around marketing bundles is your middle one. This is the most popular one. If you plug 15 holes, you've made it to where the big money is. Bigger than this. This is nice, 240, 240, 240, 240 in hundreds. This is nice, but what's nicer is what's at the next level, okay? Now, how does an iceberg work? An iceberg works where it freezes here and it grows really big underground, and that's what we do in network marketing. In my first business that I built, out of 162 people, that grew to 45,000 people for a few $1 million. 45,000 people. I didn't know those people. They were like Jeffs. Do you get it? And you're never going to know who the next person is that gets in your business because it's someone else's friend. It's someone else's friend. So how do you know where to go look? I'll tell you a problem that a lot of people have. And then I'm going to have Jeff talk for a minute. So watch this. This is what's called a social economic scale. This is a 0, this is a 10. These are people who live under the bridge. They're homeless. It is what it is. These are your multimillionaires, okay? Social economic scale. First, you have to find where do you fall on the social economic scale. Why was it so easy for me to build my first network was because who I was connected to. So the guy that was prospecting me was not my friend. He was a local business owner who knew I was connected to influential people because I was up here. I was doing $3 million a year in business. My customers were the wealthy people of Palm Springs. They were the old celebrities, and they were the people that made 6 figures plus. And those people don't work jobs. They have leverage in their life. They're usually in commission sales or something like that. Okay? So we all hang out with people that are like us. So I was connected. Okay? So if you're a 3 on the social economic scale, who are you connected to? So stop and think about who you're prospecting. Because how much is $500 to these people right here? A lot of money. Exactly. How much is it to these people up here? Nothing.
Dinner.
And for those of you that hear my story all the time, you hear how I wrote a hot check for $720 when I got started in my first network marketing company. That was nothing for me. $720. Sure, I'll write you a check for that and cover the bounce check fee. It's just what you do. But you know how many people say to me, I could never do that. That's the difference between me and you. You've got to understand this and stop and think about who you're afraid to go talk to, because that's the people up here. Because if you're a 3, you only like to go talk to these people because you have influence over them. These people scare the living daylights out of you because they have influence over you. So you're intimidated and you're scared to go talk to them. So make a chicken list and start sending them cards. Start sending your chicken list cute cards, funny cards, no prospecting, none at all. Start with a compliment. I sent a card to 5 big network marketer friends of mine, and all I did is take a picture of them and a big check of them holding of their multi-million dollars that they have made. On the inside, I took their family picture, and all I put is, I'm so happy. It's been such a joy to watch your success unfold on Facebook. I just thought you would enjoy this. Keep up the good work. You're giving the industry a great name. Do you get it? Just be friendly. And now one of those people are like, we need to talk because I want to send my team these cards. And I did not pitch them. If I would have had a pitch on the back of that card, I wouldn't have gotten one phone call. Not one phone call. So take your pitches off your cards. So I want Jeff to share because he uses it in his business. Jeff is really good because Jeff's an entrepreneur. So he has lenses. He's got one lens for opportunity and one lens for cards. He sees appreciation and he understands to keep his ears open for who his next business partner is going to be. He's got it down, okay? Like me, I've got it down. I can look, I can see how to win friends and influence people, and I can see how to show someone how to make some more money. So I wanted to share a couple stories with you of how he uses his cards, because he just did something really cool. He landed a $200,000 contract that's still in the final stages of finalizing for his next movie, that he did not expect that that person would be giving him $200,000 because he didn't even know the person at the time. It was the card. And how he's the busiest magician out of all the magicians around because of his cards. So share, give it a few minutes.
And just real quick, I did a lecture in January at the place called the Magic Castle in Hollywood. And I was talking to a room full of magicians and trying to teach them how to basically earn more with their magic or earn more with their business. And I told them what I do is basically I'm literally just sending my previous clients a card, or if they're a really big client, a card with brownies, things like that, and just appreciating them, thanking them, constantly going back to them one more time. You want to say thanks, or hey, you had a holiday going on with your business or something. Just a big thanks. And I get calls from that stuff. Well, that exact lecture that I was doing at the Magic Castle was because I sent the booker a card and a pack of brownies. I wouldn't have had that lecture if I didn't send that one to the guy. I called him, I sent it to him, and I got a call literally the next day from him, and he goes, "You're doing something right in the world. I don't know what it is, but I got this in the mail. These brownies are awesome. I need you for a lecture. Teach these guys how to do it for themselves. I love to give back to the communities. I want everybody to be super successful. I want everybody to make a ton of money."
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
If he would have sent a pitch card that says, "This is what I can do, and would you have me come in and speak to your people and try and sell a service," he wouldn't even have got a phone call.
It's true. I didn't even have a picture of it. It was just like a "hey, how you doing" type of thing. In the lecture, it was January, just if I didn't clarify that already. For entertainers, the holiday season up through Christmas, up through New Year's is super swamp busy. January typically absolutely positively dead. I asked the people in the crowd, I said, "How many of you have shows booked this month?" And very few hands went up. And I said, "I have 4 shows booked this month. 4. That's probably 4 more than most of you here today." I go, "But with those 4 shows, I'm going to make $10,000 off those 4 shows, and that's because I sent my people a card and they called me back. That is the only reason I got those shows. Promise you that. You do this type of thing, tell my magicians, follow up with your customers, just show appreciation, they're going to call you back. They're just going to do it." Another one was, and what you didn't know, we had a phone call where I was speaking on the call a week ago. And at that point, I told Darla, I says, I had met a guy at the Maserati dealership, and I happened to meet a ton of people there, which is really cool. And I'm not here to pitch the dealership, but this is just where I met him, so it's going with the story. I found out that the guy, number one, paid cash for the Maserati he bought, but not only that, he paid cash for the house they had. And we just kind of hit it off. I didn't know all that up front, but we hit it off earlier on in the relationship. And I said, "I need more friends like you." He goes, "Why? What else do you do?" "Oh, well, thank you for opening that door." I happen to make movies. So I told him, I said, "We make a lot of what I call lower budget movies, B-style movies, but very, very good. You wouldn't know that they're lower budget just by the dollar figure. You'd only know it. You'd only know it by the dollar figure, not by the quality of the film. Because when we're done making it, it looks like a $2 to $3 million movie." I told the guy, I says, "I will make more movies. I'm actually just finishing up my last one, and we're going to start on production of our next one." And I said, "We're actually looking for some investors. If you happen to know anybody," I didn't come to him directly, "if you happen to know anybody, just in passing, just said it. If you happen to know anybody, cool, great." And when he left the office that day, I took a picture of him in his new Maserati with his whole family, and I put it on the inside of the card, spanned it in the inside of the card, sent him a pack of brownies, and I sent him a copy of the previous movie, which is in the gift store.
Yes.
Brilliant.
It is a great movie.
What is it?
And I sent him a copy of the movie. I said, "Here, you take a peek at it, tell me what you think about it. If you're interested, great, let's talk sometime if you want." Because he showed it. He goes, "I'll be interested in something like that." I said, "Cool, I'll just send you something if you are, great, wonderful." And I wasn't like, "Big deal, get out of here." I was like, "Cool, wonderful." I wasn't being pushy with him. This went on he got the brownies, of course, things, and I set up all the meetings. And this went on for about 2 months. Had a call with Darla last week, and we were in the final negotiation stages. I was literally 200 grand short. And as of last night, I have my official credit in the film as associate producer because I got my 200 grand. From sending a card, and Brownie's just showing appreciation for the customers, making a friend, making a friend, making a friend.
Yeah. Awesome.
The tension. Get used to the tension and be okay with tension.
Yeah.
Be okay with asking. Be okay with talking. That's all you got to do. All right? Cool.
Jordan, how old are you?
22.
So this kid is 22 years old, and if he does exactly what I tell him to do right now, he will be a top Maserati salesman if he'll do it, right? So he's sending thank you cards to the people who buy a car from him. Teach the art of one step sooner. If he will make the investment of taking a picture of every test drive, because here's the thing, whether you're a realtor and you're doing a open house, or a car salesman and you're doing a test drive, or those two are all I can think of right now. What you have to think of is when the wife walks in the house and she sees this kitchen and goes, oh, my dream kitchen. She cannot see herself. I cannot see myself in this room right now. I can see all of you. You can see all of them, but you cannot see yourself. I don't know if I have food in my teeth. I don't know if my hair's parted funny. I don't know if I have a booger hanging out of my nose. I can't see myself, right? But if I'm in a dream kitchen and I get a picture card in the mail of me standing in my dream kitchen, that's first on the front of it, it shows a picture of the front of the house with an address that says thank you with the address. And on the inside, it's you, it's the person in their dream house, or dream room of their house, and just a thing that says thank you for allowing me to show you 6939 West Side Drive, whatever the address was. I really think you look great in this kitchen. And they're going to be sitting there trying to decide which house to buy. And that's the only card that gives the picture to show what they look like in the kitchen. And that's the house they're going to pick. For a couple reasons. The memory that you brought back to them when they were in the kitchen, and to the impression that you just made on them for being a person of kindness. People want to do business with people that they know, love, like, and trust. Okay? And so when he sends a test drive picture of the person in their car, you know, saying, you look really great in this car, you know, or even making it cute and be from the car. Hi, my name is Mozzie, you know, whatever. I really enjoy giving you a test drive. I think you and I should become better friends. You know, something like that, get creative. But send it with a box of brownies, they're gonna buy your car. And you know why I know that? I bought my second BMW from the same guy who sold me my first BMW 30 something years ago, 30 years ago, 28 years ago. I did not know this guy. He was just a salesman. But I bought my second BMW from him, and I sent him 6 people that I can remember by name that were clients of mine, sent him to buy cars from him because the guy sent me cards. He sent me a thank you card. He sent my car a thank you card. He sent my car a birthday card. He would send cute little cards, and I know it had to be through send out cards. I just know it did. And it's funny because when I got him to send out cards, he was the first person I thought of, and I can't find the guy. And I was like, you know, he quit sending me cards, so I quit buying cars from him. Get it? He stopped. And so those are just little tips, you guys. So does anybody have a question that you want to ask me? Anybody got a question? I'd love to take some quick questions. We got a couple minutes. Yes?
Not a question, but adding to that, you're right. They know, like, and trust, and we figure that our past clients are those people that know us, like us, and trust us. But the piece that P.D. Trotman added is they have to also remember.
Yes.
And that's where that card comes in every single month. They know you, they like you, they trust you. They have to remember you and need you.
And a lot of people don't understand that really what we are is we're a CRM system. We are a CRM system to businesses. We are a CRM system. And once, you know, I'll ask someone, what CRM system do you use? You know, and I'll ask them a few questions. Does it do this, that, one thing, or the other? Because I know them all and they don't do it, you know. So I'm getting the no, it doesn't do that, no, it doesn't do that. Yes?
So when you're saying you don't have the pitch on the back, like if you're
You can have a picture on the back. Oh, pitch, sorry.
yeah, so if you're sending things for your business card, don't have your company name, logo, headshot, and I mean maybe your headshot, but no company reference.
No, not on the thank you card. absolutely can. But not on the congratulations on your new grandbaby and the happy birthday. Your happy birthday can if it's coming from the business, but you want to build you as the brand. Like when I take on realtors, right away realtors want to start putting their brand on the back and the company they work for, and I'm like, listen, do you want to build the brand of your company, or do you want to build the reputation and brand of you, of what you provide as a person? Do you want that person to follow you from your... I said, are you going to die in the company that you're with right now? And they're like, no. I'm like, then get their name off the back of your card and start being you as the business capital. And you guys, every single day, you have to work people through your pipeline. When you're sending cards of gratitude out there in the world, and you do this on a daily basis and you never miss a day, in a couple weeks, your phone every day is going to start just giving you chills every time. You'll wake up every day to someone, just you made their day. You'll get people calling you in tears. And you know, when you feed this pipeline thing, and it's the old adage of how to win friends and influence people. Just appreciate them. Give to give, not give to get. Give to give with no expectation. I have to go back and look at cards that I sent because I can't even remember the card I sent someone when I send them a card because I sent it genuinely just to send a card, you know? And so you can periodically send a pitch card, but you must give first. You have to give before you ask to get. That's the difference in what we do. In the traditional world, everyone's all about, hey, what can you give me? Hey, can you give me, can you buy something from me? Hey, will you buy something? Will you send me customers? And that's salesy, slimy, salesy. And they can't build relationships. I can go to anybody in sales and I can say, who's your dream clientele that if you could have anybody in your business, who are they? Someone that doesn't even know that you're alive on the planet. I'm going to show you how to get them to call you. I'm going to show you how to get them to call you. I get more people who call me and say, Darla, I'm holding your card. I have no idea who you are, but this is the most nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me or done for me. And they'll say to me, tell me about yourself. Who are you? And that's really how it starts because I've learned the art of go on Facebook, find somebody famous. I even have someone on my team who said for the heck of it, he was just going to see if he could get his the big guy with the really big Jagger guy, that guy, anyway, the music guy. So he went on to Facebook and to Google and pulled some pictures of this guy in concert, and all he could find was his manager, his production manager, or whoever that guy is to send it to, sent him a card telling him how he's been his favorite singer since he was a little boy, and he called him and talked to him for an hour and 15 minutes. He's sending a snapshot on his phone of the time thing. Yeah, the guy called him. That's how much he was touched. You want to impress the mayor of your town? Send them a card and let them know how long you've lived in their town and that you've really enjoyed and you want them to know that they've done a great job, that you've been around to watch it for a long time. You know, something like that. But tell the truth, don't lie. Yes?
So you have no branding on the back of the card now, I understand. And assuming that person that you sent the card to that you didn't know called you, you have your contact info inside the card?
Yes, I always put my phone. Well, I do have I do have this one that just has our name and our address and phone number tiny underneath.
Got it.
But I'll tell you what, I got 2 cards last month, and this is a story that I'll end with, but it was so powerful. I got 2 cards last month, and it was really funny because I was speaking in Van Nuys, and the guy happened to be in the room. What are the chances of that? I couldn't believe it. But it turned out to be a great training for him. It was so embarrassing, but it is what it is. Anyway, so I got 2. I went and checked the mail one day, and I get cards every day, which is awesome. And every once in a while, I don't get a card, and I'm like, oh gosh, is that how it feels? I need to get a card. You know, this is what everyday people have to feel. And so I got 2 cards. I got an envelope and I got a package, and I couldn't wait to get inside and open the package because I knew it was a gift, right? And I don't know why, but what gift? It's a bigger box. Oh my God, what is it? So I open it, and I open the card, and I'm like, oh, the goodie's cool. I open the card, and all it is a sales card. It's a pitch card. It's the guy's face and all. Mobile DJ, business, we appreciate referrals, and I threw the card back in the box, opened up the other card, and it was the most beautiful, I should have brought it, the most beautiful written card where somebody had poured their heart out and told me how much I've inspired them and how much they appreciate for what I give and do out there. A person I didn't even know existed on the planet because I didn't know who they were. They were even from another country, and I had to figure out the country was Australia because I don't know that kind of stuff. And she didn't put her face on it, she didn't put her phone number on it. And I'm like, who is this person? I searched high and low. I asked, I dug, I posted, till I found who this person was. Do you get it? That's the power right there. And I was like, that is the best lesson that I could ever teach. And this guy, well, it turned out he was in the room, and he's like, Darla, I'm so sorry. I accidentally added you to a campaign of my existing customers, and that was my ask card, and you happened to get it before I gave you a give card. And I was like, best lesson ever, you know, best lesson ever. So even if you don't put your information, if you touch somebody, they're gonna go to the ends of the earth to find who you are. And the least you put on, the more they really are affected by that in a personal way. Okay, any other questions? Yes.
What if you don't have a business and you're just like a regular person?
Are you talking about you?
Yeah.
Perfect. So she works at a company where they have how many people at the firm?
Like 4 people, but in
4
20
people,
different clinics.
and they have 4 people, 20 different clinics, and their job is to send 12 handwritten cards a day. She's going to her company. Get it? So you are the connector. You're either the person that's going to use it in their life because you already have a career that you love, or you're going to be the one that introduces it to people who love what they do. That's me. I'm you. You can be me. You want to be me?
Yeah.
Okay. All you have to do is introduce it to people who have something like Jordan does where he sells Maserati cars. Okay? See, Jordan gets to do both because he's got sales. His cards, I already know how this is going to work. His cards are going to land in the same hands that movie producer's are because of his clientele. Right? His business is going to grow so big that he's going to purposely never quit working there because those are his ace in his holes, all those cards that are going out. Because when an entrepreneur receives a card that makes them release that energy inside of being touched, they're like, genius. Just like that guy told me, genius, right? That is genius. They want to do that. So when you go take this to your boss, that's the same as you being that person. You just don't have to have all the headache that she has of the overhead. Does that make sense? And so you, as you scroll Facebook, you see the same posts I do. Someone's baby announcement, someone's, go scroll back to Mother's Day and take some pictures of people on Mother's Day and say, oh, I saw this picture and I just thought you would enjoy it. You too, I just love how beautiful your daughter's grown up. It's been such a joy. Say something nice. That's all you gotta say. Because they're gonna get it and they're gonna just be whoosh with that feeling because nobody gets cards. Nobody gets cards, and they're personal, and they're going to hold them in their hands and have them,
And what about people that I know that have businesses that are my friends?
Yeah.
If I just send personal cards.
Yes, well, you're
and
going to
then
all...
know how it is.
Yes, so when you guys send a card to a business, don't just let the card do the work. In the meantime, while the card is in the mail, those 3 or 4 days while that card is in transit, present, ask, open their mind to it. Say, hey, I want to meet with you to show you something, a new way to appreciate your customers. Are you doing any appreciation to your customers right now? They usually say no, or yeah, Facebook post or whatever. And just open the door, because then when they get the card, they're going to go, oh, this is what she was talking about. Get it? Okay. All right, you guys, I'll be hanging out after if you have any questions. I've gone way over time, so thank you.